Wait, John Rowe.
The topic of the podcast together and honestly I'm excited.
Wait, John. Wait, John Rowe. We should do a podcast.
The topic of the podcast together and honestly I'm excited.
G'day, dorks, and welcome into Lords of Dorktown, a podcast all about anime, cartoons, and video games. I'm your host, Philip, and the dorks joining me tonight are the fantastic podcasters, anime fans, but most importantly, they're massive haiku nerds. It's Cheyenne and Shannon from the Nakama no Anime podcast. How are you guys?
We're
Wonderful.
good, yeah.
Man, it is.
How are you?
I'm really good. I'm so glad we're doing this. I've been a massive fan of your podcast over the last couple of weeks, and I've been chomping at the bit to get you on Dorktown and talk. Basically, I wanted to just get a little bit of a rundown of what, for the dorks, what Nakama no Anime podcast is, because I've listened to a bunch of it, and I don't even know what category to fall under. Sometimes I think it's pure, unadulterated smut, and I love it. Sometimes I think it's the most analytical anime podcast out there. Sometimes I think it's just 45 minutes of hot takes. What is Nakama no Anime podcast?
That's a great question. So it's actually Shannon's idea. So I want her to like kind of we'll kind of divulge. I guess it literally was I had never seen anime before and we worked together, and so she was like, well, why don't we try? So when she introduced me to anime and I started to really like it, I already host a Star Wars podcast. So she was like, would you want to do this? And I was like, of course I would.
I've had no podcasting experience at all, so this was like my first ever take on it. Yeah, and it was kind of like a whim. I was like,
it's literally just us talking with a mic. Like, I know we talked about this before we started recording, but literally her and I just kind of shoot the shit all the time. Yeah. And we were like, well, what if we just put it on the internet? So that's literally it. I don't think we fall into a category, at least not yet.
No, I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't put you. I wouldn't dare put you two ladies in a box. Good lord, no way.
I don't think it would go very well.
No. Now you guys have covered some really fun topics on Nakama no Anime. You've talked about some fascinating podcasts. You guys are like really into romance anime, and as someone who hasn't put their toe into that pond yet, I was wondering, do you guys have like a recommendation for like the best entry level romance anime to get into?
Well, that's really hard.
Yeah, that is so hard. I do.
Oh
my god. Okay, you go first, Shannon.
Okay, I would probably say Watakoi.
How's that spelled?
That one's
sorry,
such a good one. How's it spelled?
Yeah.
Did you say?
Yeah.
WOTAKOI.
Yep.
It's also called Love is Hard for an Otaku. It's so fucking good. Like, it's very like real life, especially when you're an adult. It's a lot of fun to watch because it's got more of a like adult take on romance, as opposed to like that high schooler kind of like falling in love at a young age. Yeah, so I enjoy that one. It's also in my top 10 anime list of all time. So
ooh, big.
Yeah, I actually would have to agree. That's probably a good one to start with.
It is really good.
The other ones that I can think of are either really fucking sad, or like smutty, like you said, which this is who I am as a person.
I feel like I would fall down the smut tunnel eventually. Like, if you'd asked me 12 months ago if I was to ever get into sports anime, I would have laughed in your face. But the last 12 months have been just an absolute degenerate wormhole of sports anime that has taken me to places I never thought it would. So yeah, maybe romance anime is my next thing.
You should give it a try. It's definitely worth it.
I think I will. I've been really enjoying it over the last 12 months, just exploring like different genres of anime. Because as someone who just kind of grew up with the basic kind of shonen big three and all that stuff, I never really stretched my wings and went to different genres, if you know what I mean. I just kind of stayed in the same. So yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah, you should definitely give it a try.
And I think a lot of sports anime are like romance anime light almost. Like there's a lot of boy love in these current animes, which kind of gets me to my first question, because you guys talk a lot about haiku, and I've become rather obsessed with Haikyuu. So I was wondering who's your Haikyuu guy, and I kind of know your answers already because I've listened to you guys a bunch, but I want to hear it again. So who's your Haikyuu guy?
So I'm building him currently.
Like actually,
Literally, Shannon got me.
I got her a Kudo Nendroid for Christmas,
Oh my god.
and she was so excited that she's currently building him.
Yeah, I want to cry.
Hers is Kudo, and then mine is Tsukishima. So I guess they're kind of like one in the same.
What's yours?
Yeah.
Mine is like an actual three-way tie. I don't think I've been able to separate these three this whole time. So it's Tsukishima, Asahi, and Nishinoya. Those.
Wow.
I can't.
Those, I fucking shit you not, are all three of my favorites.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like Asahi's something
Such a
special,
sweet-
mate. Oh my god, he's like a gentle giant that
He is.
the ponytail
Noya
man
is
bun
just
too.
the best.
Oh. Nishinoya, I love Nishinoya. I think the libero is like the backbone of Haikyuu, like the backbone of any good volleyball team, and like Nishinoya fulfills that role spectacularly.
I have such strong opinions on Nishinoya being the whole fucking backbone of this whole fucking show.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you said that because he has no appreciation. I literally went on tangent last time that we filmed about him. They call him a genius one fucking time and then they never say it again. Like, what? Are you kidding?
In his introduction episode, they like big him up to like, and they rightfully big him up. They're like, this is Nishinoya. He's the reason we're a good team. Like he is the pillar. He stops the ball from hitting the ground. The one objective of volleyball. And then the rest of the show, they're just like, yeah, no, he's pretty good. I was like, what? What is this?
I'm saying, I literally have gone on that tangent at least 6 or 7 times with Cheyenne, and she always looks at me. She's like, okay.
Well, I get it. I agree. I entirely agree. I can't act like I'm a volleyball expert. I played volleyball for a year in high school, but I fucking loved it. And which is, I think, part of the reason why I feel so attached to this anime is because I just kind of like left that and never was able to go back to it. But I was never like the libero. I didn't know their significance. And then watching Haikyuu and having them put the emphasis on him and then not doing that for him, like not giving him the justice he deserves, it is really dissatisfying.
Yeah, it's rough. Like I've got no past experience with volleyball, let alone any sport. So like you could shove a volleyball up my ass and I wouldn't know what it was. But like if you get to talking about a libero, I fire up. Like it's like Nishinoya has really like ruined me for Haikyuu in all honesty. And then like Tsukishima, like season 3 Tsukishima it's like, oh my god, him just trying to get one block, just one block. And his battle cry when he finally gets it and his hand, it's like, oh man, I tingles now thinking about it.
That's what I'm saying. It is, I shit you not, I'm on TikTok and I will always send Cheyenne that all the time. It's the same fucking video, but it's all the time with like different music in the background of him fucking blocking Ushijima. I send it to her all the time. It's the same video over and over and over again, and I still love it.
And it's magical every time.
It literally is. There's so many magical moments in Haikyuu. It's one of those shows. But you ladies have also read the Haikyuu manga, which is something I haven't gone in on yet. And I've dipped my toe in a fair bit of manga, but Haikyuu for me is always such a visual experience. I was wondering, how does it translate in the manga? Do you guys give it a big recommendation, or is it just because it kind of bulks out the story and you get to spend a bit more time with a few other characters? Is that the draw of it? I'm just wondering its appeal.
So I finished it before Shannon, which is a rare occurrence. So it really just it gives you the satisfaction of like being with your boys, you know. You kind of get to see obviously the final efforts of things, but you also get to, I guess, feel it more. Feel the impact more of what they're going through, because it's such a fun, simple, like, you really care for these characters, but literally they're just playing volleyball.
The stakes are so low. The stakes are always so low.
It doesn't feel like it though.
They feel higher in the manga. They do.
Wow.
It feels more. So that's probably the pull for that.
I am gonna say though, I didn't 100%. I like skipped a massive part of it, so I did read like the last chapter, and then I read like part of the just before the time skip, only because I know that there's something sad coming up and I don't want to read it. So I've kind of like barred myself from watching it. But I would say that I was surprised that I liked reading a sports anime, because I didn't think I would, because I thought it'd be a little hard to like feel like as attached to it. But it's actually pretty easy to read the whole thing.
Yeah, it goes by quick for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at some point I will have to go in on reading it as well. I'm currently through like, I'm gonna say rewatch number 4 of Haikyuu. So yeah, it's one of those things where as soon as I finish it, I'm like, yeah, I could probably just whack it on again. I reckon. I don't reckon it'll cause me any harm. There's also a few other sports animes that I've gone in on over the last couple of months that I think you guys have watched. Mainly, I know you guys have watched Skate the Infinity, and this is a series that I was really hyped when it came out. I really loved it. As someone who grew up wanting to be a skater, like nobody's business, but just being like a pudgy, uncoordinated kid. Sorry, I don't mean pudgy. I mean fat. I just never got around it. And then Skate the Infinity came out and I loved it so hard. And then I finished Skate the Infinity and then I watched it again and then I listened to you guys do an episode on it and then I was like, oh no, Skate the Infinity is a love story between Reki and Lunga, and that came out of nowhere for me. And now that I have that in my mind, it is such a better show because they're legitimately in love. Like they're like actual soulmates. Yeah. So do you think that's like, do you think that was the actual pull for Skate the Infinity? Or did I get tricked into liking a love story? Or do you think it's just those two characters were strong enough on their own to kind of outshine the plot, so to speak?
I know for a fact I say for a fact loosely, I haven't looked up the interview. This is kind of like happenstance among people that I've talked to in the Skate Infinity fandom. That in an interview somewhere, the voice actors have said, we literally just played the role as it was written. So I think that it was written as a romance. And I think that the writers might not have even realized how romantic they were making it. Because they do make some of those moments almost as equally intense as like Haikyuu or like Free, but they don't nearly go into as much explanation of skating as I would have thought they would if that was the goal basis, you know? Yeah,
there really isn't. The skating is the kind of lore around skating, the technique or anything around skating is not that elaborated, but like it's ridiculously romantic now that I think about it. Like I think it's like episode 1, like Snow over Tokyo or something like that, Snow in Japan, like where Lunga's like upside down on the board floating over Reki and there's like snowflakes falling. It's like, what the fuck?
What I'm saying though, it's a romance. It reminds me of the kind of vibe. I think it has a stronger vibe than Hinata and Kageyama from Haikyuu, but they definitely have like the same vibe around them that I at least think that they're soulmates in that sense, whether it be the writers meant for it to be platonic or you know, like romantic. I definitely think either way, even if it's not written or was mistakenly written as a romance, I think either way, both sets of people are soulmates, which is interesting.
I 100% agree on Hinata and Kageyama. I think I said that right. Yeah. I'm terrible at pronouncing everything. But yeah, I definitely think they are 100%. Like, it's even referenced throughout the show that they're soulmates. It's like Hinata would be nothing without Kageyama sets, and Hinata makes Kageyama sets the strongest. Like, it's just like the yin and yang. They're the perfect match for each other. How can they not be soulmates? Anyone who disagrees that they are desperately in love, whether it is a platonic or a romantic love, is lying to themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
Wow, we got into that quick. Sorry, it's just no one.
We always do.
Haikyuu's been like such a red hot topic for me lately, and like no one I know in my like immediate circle is like watching it or talking about it. So I'm like, I feel like I'm going crazy. It's good to vent and get this all off my chest.
You can literally talk to us about Haikyuu anytime. I could talk about that show forever.
Well, you guys
we do talk about all the
time. Huh? You guys just mentioned before briefly an anime called Free, which I've watched, I think maybe 6 or 7 episodes, and then I was like, oh, I don't know if this is really for me, because that's, you know, any pretense that that's not a super romantic boy love show is completely thrown out the window with their swimmers. Like it's just gone. That being said, it is still very good. I just it was a bit much. I think I'll go back to it at another point, but it was a bit much. But do you think that's like the extent that sports anime kind of goes in that direction? Is Free the epitome of like where it's kind of leading to, or is it almost like a Yuri on Ice kind of situation where that's where the height of this kind of boy lovey sports anime kind of leads to?
So interesting.
You're going to be much better answering this than me.
I don't know.
You do like.
I haven't done, I'll say this, I haven't watched all the sports anime that I want to watch, but I used to freelance write for a company called Screen Rant, and I had to watch a bunch of sports anime for an article that I wrote for them. And so I just like watch snippets. So like there's one called like All Out, which I think is rugby.
Yeah.
And like Free, and then there's like Run with the Wind, and there's Yawamushi Pedal. There's a ton. And I would say it's almost like a specific set of sports anime that include like a BL aspect to it that they don't necessarily mean to include, but it's definitely in the dialogue and in the way that they animate the show, versus like All Out doesn't really feel like that. Even Remain, which I think is water polo.
Yeah, water polo.
I've only watched like 4 episodes of that, and so, but I didn't get that vibe from that one yet either. Or I think also like Run with the Wind. I don't know if it gives off that, but I think that one might purposefully have BL like later on. So I would have to say I need to table that, my like for sure answer, but I do think based on what I've seen of sports anime, there's almost always a BL aspect in the more modern renditions of it, because I think like All Out is a little older, Run with the Wind is a little older. So yeah,
it's a weird modern trend that's kind of happening with sports anime, and it's a trend that I guess I'm enjoying it because I keep watching it. It's weird because on the surface, if someone was to like, if I was to say describe my anime taste, I would never describe them as boy love, but fuck, maybe it is. Who am I? I don't even know anymore.
Well, when I first got into it, I mean, when Shannon showed me My Hero, I was like, oh yeah, like this is fun. Like I love an action. I was already a Marvel fan, so I was like, this could be fun. And like,
that's how I hooked you.
Yeah, she got me. And then I think I discovered shipping.
Yeah.
Because I started looking up My Hero stuff, and then I was like, okay, oh yeah, I could see it. And then I watched romance anime, and then I started watching Haikyuu, and I was like, oh no. And so I've just been spiraling ever since.
It's a slippery surface. That brings me to a really good question. So what was your first experience with anime, Cheyenne and Shannon?
So my first one I ever watched was actually Death Note. I watched it in middle school, and I was like, oh, this looks really fucking interesting. And I watched it, and I never watched another anime again until probably about 3-ish years ago.
Oh, wow.
That I started watching. Yeah, then I watched 7 Deadly Sins, and then that pushed me. My brother was like, you should watch One Piece, and that was where I fucking fell off the cliff, and I never came back from that. I've literally go on about how much I love One Piece all the time. Cheyenne is definitely tired of it.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. Everyone
He's
else is
lying.
tired of it. I love One Piece though, so that's really what sent me over the edge for anime wise.
Yeah, that's One Piece is a hell of a drug. That's like, that's straight away swinging for the fences with like one of the biggest, longest running, like most convoluted series. So yeah, that's
so good though.
Way to dive in.
Have you watched it or no?
So I've read up until the start of the Wano arc, and I've watched basically the same up until the start of the Wano arc, and have taken a.
Yeah.
So I'm a bingey boy. I love to just binge stuff. So when I first started reading One Piece, I did like something like, I think I did like 800-900 chapters, or like maybe 750 chapters in the space of like 2 months, and just kind of broke my brain to the point where like I closed my eyes and just see the Straw Hat Crew. I was like, I can't keep doing this. So then I had But like I just do it to a point where I can't do it anymore. So I've taken a little bit of a break, and because I was going to go back in on the 1,000th episode, but I'm still kind of really obsessed with what I've been reading and watching lately, so I haven't gone in. But I'm waiting. I'm ready. I'm ready to go back in. I need some more One Piece in my life.
Yeah, you need to dive back in. One Piece train.
Shannon is
watching One Piece.
Shannon is the biggest One Piece motivator. So like I said a minute ago, I started with My Hero through Shannon, and then I think I did My Hero,
and then I tried to do about Haikyuu.
Yeah, like almost immediately. As soon as I finished My Hero, I started Haikyuu, because I needed something to fill the void until season 5 started. And then I became obsessed with Haikyuu. Haikyuu stays number 1 in my top 10, and I think after that, because of the like shipping thing, because of the BL aspect of kind of both of those, I started reaching out into romance. And I was here still in Orlando, and I was reading manga with Shannon.
Yeah.
And I was trying kind of all of them. So I was just reading volume 1s. And I found out that romance was kind of my shtick. And then I started binging a bunch of romance. Yeah, romance and BL stuff, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it's so interesting that you guys are so like you guys have only been in this degenerate kind of world for 3 to 4 years. Like like you guys are so like knowledgeable, and you guys feel so like in with the community and the fandoms and stuff like that. Because I've been like watching and reading and consuming anime content now for a long time, but I never really engage in the fandoms because I'm like, and you saw it when we were trying to set this up. I'm not techno savvy. I don't do well on the internet at a lot most of the points of time. It's not my shining platform. So I don't engage with the fandoms and stuff like that as much. So I just watch the shows and enjoy them, which is kind of funny because like so many shows are like have notorious kind of like toxic fandoms and stuff like that. And I think you guys have exposed me to like a few of the ideas of like toxic shipping and stuff like that, and like some fandoms that are really messy. And it seems like or at least from what I've heard from you guys, that the romance fandoms can get real messy sometimes. Is that something that you guys kind of agree with through your experience?
I would say so.
Yeah, I think so.
I wouldn't say any specifically like romance anime, so things like Your Lie in April or Say I Love You, like the really like itchy short ones, I would say aren't super toxic, but BL kind of gets a little toxic, and I mean like the smutty BL can get a little toxic, because there's just arguments about like, well, this is fantasy, so it doesn't matter, and versus the, well, this is like reflecting on real relationships, so people shouldn't invest in it. And it's like, there's just so many opinions that aren't all necessarily right or wrong, because people act like there's no gray area when there definitely is. And it kind of, I mean, social media, puts people at each other's throats sometimes, without really needing to. So I think that is probably where the romance toxicity comes in. I think too, even just like bringing romance into shonen and stuff. So like shipping in My Hero, I think is one of where the
biggest like area of where people get toxic. Really, I think it's mostly like very popular anime where you get a lot of toxic shipping and like a lot of toxicity because people have such strong opinions. Like the smaller romance anime generally don't have any because people are like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, I don't have that's too an opinion on it.
Yeah.
But it's when you get like into the My Hero ships and stuff like that, and people like get super, super passionate about it, and they go off on each other, and they are just not.
And to be fair, I've told Shannon this on the podcast. You've probably heard me say it before, but like, I haven't ever been a part of that kind of stuff, so I don't ever necessarily see it. I hear about it from other people who have seen it.
Okay.
Which I think is nice for me, because then I'm not involved. Like, I don't have to like look at people arguing on the internet about it, versus like, and I would say the only comparison that I have for that is being as involved as I am in the Star Wars fandom.
Oh, you poor thing. That is... Oh, that was a notoriously bad fandom before like the internet was like really kicking off. Like that's been a bad fandom forever, which is like, and like we did an episode. We've done like a few Star Wars episodes. We did an episode I think it was like a month or two or a couple months back on like Star Wars Vision, and like the quickest I've ever seen my like inbox like start lighting up from an episode was as soon as we mentioned Star Wars. It was like, no, you got this wrong. Like, there's an episode, I don't know if you've seen Star Wars Vision. This is a bit of a tangent, but there's an episode
I've
called...
only seen the first 3.
Okay, well, there's an episode called TOB1, and it's like a Astro Boy kind of rip-off. TOB1's like a droid who's got a kyber crystal in his chest, which is, gives him the power of droid, I don't know, it gives him force powers, I suppose, and he can wield a lightsaber. And anyway, it's very cute, it's very wholesome, and I enjoyed it very much. And I said that on the podcast, and my inbox looked like I had just like sided with the Nazi party. Like there were so many people who were just like, you monster, how could you? It was like an affront to everything the great man George Lucas had ever wanted. He would vomit just seeing this, and I'm just like, what is this? Like, what I have said some heinous things on this podcast, and this is what you're picking up on? Like Star Wars fandom is oh, you poor soul.
Yeah, I apologize on behalf of the Star Wars fans that don't give a shit, because I don't give a shit. I can't believe that people came for you about that. Like, the thing for me, and I think this is just, it's who I am as a person, and I think that there's plenty of people like this out there that are in fandoms, which is why I don't see the toxicity very often in any fandom that I'm in, because it's just not who I am. But literally, I just enjoy it. Like, thank you for giving me the content. Thank you for giving me Star Wars in my life. I appreciate it, no matter what it is. If it's bad, I'll say that it's bad, and I'll still watch it. Oh yeah, and that for me also kind of goes for anime. So.
Oh yeah, I've hate watched a bunch of anime, and I'll continue to do so until the day I die. I think hate watching something is just as fun as watching your favorite show. Sometimes hate watching something is all, like, it's cathartic. It's just sitting there and seething with rage at everything that's happening on a screen is quite fun.
Yes.
Anyway, we should move into the main topic. There was questions that we were going to ask, but I'm skipping all that because I thoroughly enjoyed that conversation, and we were just going to talk about fast food, and that's not what this well, it kind of is what this podcast is about, but it's not what it's about today because we've got some topics to get to. So, the reason I invited you people onto this podcast is you guys are big My Hero people, and I'm a big My Hero person myself. I would rank it up there as probably, it'd probably get my top 10. I think it's definitely in my top 10. I don't know if it's in my top 5.
It's in both of our top 10s, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. I think it's the anime that kind of brought me back into anime, like hardcore.
Okay.
Because I
love that.
I was a fan of anime for ages. Like I watched Naruto when I was a kid, and Pokemon when I was a kid, and stuff like that. In my teenage years, Full Metal Alchemist and all that kind of jazz. And of recent, like in the last 5-6 years, I wasn't super into it. And then My Hero started coming along, and that piqued my interest, and that kind of sent me down a wormhole. And I kind of really kind of reinvigorated my love for the genre. So My Hero for me is always this kind of like, it's the one that got me back almost, It's the one that was, it was everything about it was so engaging that I just couldn't not look away from the screen. And then it's so visually interesting, and everything that it's doing I'm so into. And it came out in the right time during all that Marvel stuff, and it was perfect time, perfect place, and the perfect show. So it really holds a pretty strong place in my heart. So I thought today we could break down some of the best and worst quirks of My Hero, because we've already reviewed every season already. So I'm running out of things to talk about with My Hero.
I love that.
I need more excuses to talk about My Hero, basically. So to kick it off, I want to kick it off with like an absolute low ball, because look, there's a lot of quirks we can talk about here, and I'm sure we'll get to some of them, but I just wanted to get one of the ones out of the way really quickly because, look, everyone knows it's shit, and it's a hacky kind of quirk to rag on, so we'll get it out of the way first. Of course, I'm talking about the tail quirk by Ojiro in Class 1A.
Yeah, it was fucking stupid.
Yep.
It's the dumbest. It's so gross to look at. It's awful.
It is fucking disgusting. Can I just say, if I got fucking born with that, I'd ask I'd ask all for one to take
feel
it away.
like- yeah,
I'd be
I
like,
feel
please have this one. I don't want it.
Why
Yeah,
would
no.
I be a hero? Look at my tail.
And honestly,
I need to
if it wasn't for
hide
the
somewhere.
if it wasn't for the fur, it would honestly just look like an uncircumcised penis coming out of his back. Like it just
That's a fact. That
it is
The fact
heinous.
is that Danky holds it. He just like strokes it, and I'm like, Danky, put it down.
Yeah,
Put it down.
why would you touch it in public? Like, I would never address it, but like just holding and stroking that, it's like you know how that like that old hacky thing where like women play with their hair or they'll touch your arm if you're interested. Like what's the sign if the guy you're talking to is stroking his own muscular tail? Like what's that sending off apart from the fact that he's a fucking creep? Ugh, I hate it.
it is fucking gross.
Yeah,
And
tail
it's like
sucks.
power level wise,
I don't like that it's
and
so muscular as well.
it's
and it's like
so muscular.
You know what they could have done?
Big.
Could have given him a monkey tail. It's still not
Yeah.
great. Still kind
it
of
would have
weird
at least been
nose,
interesting.
but he is,
now.
could be prehensile. He
Exactly.
could just grab onto things with it instead of hitting things with it.
And it's like it's to the point where it's the level of muscularness it has, it was clearly purposeful. So they've clearly wanted, like they clearly set out for just like a big, thick, meaty, muscular tail. Like it's just yuck. I hate it so much. And like scenes with him just like swinging around and throwing it, I'm like, no, thank you. Abomination.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now that we've got the easy ones out of the way, do you guys want to kick it off with one of the ones you hate? Worst, I suppose.
Ones we hate.
Worst, I'd say.
I'm just gonna say it. The fucking worst one that everybody should hate and fucking hates him should be that stupid. Well, I don't even fucking know the whole name of it. It's the grape one, Mineta.
Mineta.
Fucking
Yeah,
hate
that's the name.
Hate him.
Thank
and
you.
his stupid fucking.
Thank you. And this
hair
one,
thing.
and this goes out to Courtney from the Loser podcast, because I know you're listening, Courtney. Mineta is the worst character ever, and the fact that you think he's good is shocking to me. At this point, I think you must be doing it just as a joke on me personally, because Mineta is an awful character, and the fact that you go in
I've
so
never met
hard to
someone that
defend him
likes
every
Mineta.
time. Oh,
Oh man. And to be fair, I would love to say this. Mineta's quirk would be cooler on a decent person. And I feel bad that that is a fact because I think that his quirk has potential. And I only say that knowing that in the more recent episodes, the way that he used it to like climb a wall or something, not in like the weird creepy one that he did like early on. There was like one where he like threw, oh god, I wish I could remember the scene. You know why? I blank out all of his scenes.
yeah.
But my thing is, how did he get into UA with that quirk?
Yeah, it's stupid. You know what?
It baffles
Why
me.
does he look like he's wearing a diaper?
Yeah,
Why
I
is he
digress.
3
That's
foot
not-
tall? Like
that's what I'm saying.
he's
Like, how the
so
fuck did
small.
you get into the school? You're 3 foot 4 with
sucks.
stupid fucking hair. Like, I don't understand.
He bleeds from his head.
Honestly,
That's
and I
what
think
I'm saying.
this is probably the only way Mineta attending UA makes sense is that if the purple things on his head are actually massive cancer tumors and it was his make a wish to attend UA. That's the only thing that makes sense. I'm just saying it.
I love that. That's like the fucking best thing I've ever heard.
It's the only way.
good.
Mineta is the fucking
Yeah.
and like the fact that if he overuses his quirk, he bleeds from his head. It's just like it's adding insult to injury. It's like it's
Yeah.
it's like your quirk is already dog
could-
shit, but now it's like dog shit that makes you hurt. Like it's
You're literally like could die from.
But like, they could have at least thrown him like one bone and gave him unlimited like little great balls off this.
Yep.
I'd been like, at least like there's no hindrance to having that.
Less pain.
There's literally a hindrance to the shit quirk he already has. There's a
And
fucking
then the shit
hindrance.
personality.
That's what I'm saying.
There's just too much shit, and it's not worth it.
no, everything about it is terrible. I'm always worried about bringing up Mineta now. Ever since I got like not torn to shreds. Ever since Courtney from the Loser called Cartoon podcast like berated me for my hatred of Mineta. I'm always worried like I'm going to step on toes, but it's so nice to know that there are normal people left in the world who think Mineta is human garbage incarnate. And yes, Courtney, I know you're going to complain to me at some point. It's fine. I still enjoy you. It's good. We're fine.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think that my least favorite. Well, I say this loosely. There's plenty to choose from. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Spinner just a lizard?
Yes, he's
No,
actually
he is,
he's on my list here somewhere. I've got it because I always thought he was like more powerful than he is, but no, his quirk Gecko is literally just he can
That's so stupid.
he can just stick to walls. I don't even think he can
Just
regenerate
use it.
anything. He can just loosely stick
Oh,
to
that's
walls,
even dumber.
and he looks
Jesus.
and he has to go around
I
with
thought it
that
had something to
face.
do with something.
Ooh. Yeah, so I think Spinner. I have plenty on this list. The other one equally is dumb because it's also just an animal thing. Hound dog. His quirk is
Oh my
dog.
god, I was trying to
Are
think
you
of his
kidding
name.
me?
And
Yeah, I actually kind of have to
dog
admit that I was
Spinner.
like, "What's his name again?" And then it's Hound
Yep.
Dog. It's yeah, woofed.
Those two bad.
he's fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Author took a break
Stanley
after he
Armour
wrote
also
that one.
sucks.
Eesh.
Huh?
The author took a break after he came up with that one. Yep, dog quirk, hound dog. Yep, done. Wipe my hands clean.
Yep.
Let's
You
move
know,
on.
you know who else that I would be annoyed with if I got his quote? You know the police chief, the
Blood, the
one
one who
after
has-
the Atsu incident. No, not even the cat one because that one's at least cute. The dog,
Yeah, the dog. Yeah,
the dog, the one that Shoto's like,
God,
you mutt, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
that's so rude. Two,
I think-
why were you born like that? That's so sad.
yeah.
Any
Yeah,
quirk
he's
where I'm mutating my face into that of an animal, and that's the extent of my ability, I'm real upset with everything.
I looked up his quirk, and his quirk is dog face. That's it. He's not even a full dog. It's just his face.
Jeez, did they let the bullies from his school pick the quirk name? That is heinous. No, your quirk name's Dogface. Yeah, no, your quirk name ugly. Your ugly face. Your no one can love you but your mother face. That's you. Oh my god, that is heinous. Well, we've been very negative, so how about we switch to some of our favorite quirks? Because I feel like we could at least be a little bit positive here. So, do you guys have anyone that you would consider one of your favorite quirks?
Oh please. I have a long list. I'm gonna let Shannon take one at least.
I'm gonna start off with my boy, the one that is tattooed on my actual body, Aizawa. I feel like he is so useful. Like he probably has, I would arguably say, like one of the best quirks, like very, very high on my list. Quirks in My Hero because it's so versatile. Like the fact, seeing him in the USJ incident shows how versatile it is. He literally took on like a whole army by himself.
Yeah.
And they continuously try and either capture him or kill him because his quirk is so useful.
Yeah, they're like, if we can eliminate him, we can beat them, or at least get closer to it. But you can't eliminate him because he's too bad.
So fucking good.
And
No,
also,
he's
I would
definitely-
say his whole aesthetic is so great that like even though like his quirk's amazing, but you tie it in with the bandages, the yellow goggles, the long hair, the kind of glassy hazy eyes, like everything put together is this fucking beautiful recipe for just an absolute fucking hunk lord. And it's just just a bonus that his quirk is fucking incredible. I love Aizawa. That is an amazing pick.
Yeah. I think my first two that are worth mentioning that I feel like don't get enough attention, 13 and her
she
black
was on
hole
my
quirk.
list.
That is crazy to me. We don't get to see a lot of it.
No.
But I feel like that solves a lot of problems. I just also don't know what happens after, Like, okay, so you sucked a bunch of people into the black hole. Where do they go? What do you do?
Yeah, that's
So
like one
I
of
really
those
have
one of those
questions about it.
quirks that has like an ambiguous kind of thing. It's like, oh, so is that like a potentially Earth ruining quirk? Like if you just create a big enough black hole, is that us? Are we tapped?
Right, like we're just containing it in the suit, and then if the suit gets fucked up, are we all done? Like, what's going on here?
Yet a great example of the My Hero world just being a truly nightmare scenario, like in actuality. It's horrific.
Yeah. My other one is Cammy. Cammy. Her quirk is glamour.
Oh yeah, hers is really cool.
Hers is cool, and I specifically tried to look up people that weren't just in 1A, because I couldn't really remember anybody's that was significant enough. But I was like, she also doesn't get a lot of screen time for us to learn too much about her quirk, but her quirk is like basically creating illusions and like smoke screens. And that is so useful in any capacity, personal and professional. Like to be able to create a smoke screen and not just like get away with running, you know?
Yeah.
It's helpful for a team, for individual, whatever it might be.
One of my favorite ones also is Tamaki.
Yeah.
His is such a good quirk. I think it's, again, really versatile. I mean, I would fucking sit it because I can't eat anything gross. I would be tapped out. I'd only have like fucking chicken because that would be all I could eat. But like,
you just are chicken.
Apparently, I would literally turn into a fucking
everyone
chicken.
would confuse your quirk for just being like chicken face, but it's like, no, I just eat lots of chicken. It's fine. That's what I mean. If I ate a vegetable every now and again, it'd be fine. But it's just it's so much chicken.
But do you think he could be like a potato?
Oh my god! What if he could like shoot tater
like
tots?
Broccoli or something.
What would broccoli even do?
He's on my list too, for sure, because I think, especially in the anime, his quirk is so visually appealing. Like, it's so beautiful to watch. Like, anytime he's in a scene where he's using his quirk and you've got the bright red octopus tendrils and the hard crab shells or the whatever else he's eaten and it's incorporated into his body, it's always just visually just very appealing. And pair that with the fact that he's an absolute fucking dynamite fella, you know, it's all right, pretty good. I love him.
Yeah, no, he's one of my favorite characters overall in My Hero, and I love his personality. I think that like adds to the quirk. I really enjoy the episode where he thinks that he's like shit in comparison to Mirio, and Mirio's like, no, you're amazing. And then he realizes, you know, that's how we find out that his hero name is Sun Eater because he, you know, eats the sun. Like, it's beautiful. I just think that's it's super, super pretty. The character development is like 10 out of 10. Also, like, he's super relatable for people who are very shy. I am a person that is like super, super shy, and I also tend to be like, I'm shit at everything. So I like definitely feel him on that, like.
And I am Mirio. And you are not shit at anything.
Yeah. So I feel like he's not only is his quirk so good, but his character is just great because he's so relatable.
Yeah.
So
100% agreed. And like, I love that pairing of Mirio and Sun Eater. Like, I think they're such good people to bounce off each other, and there's something that I'm absolutely like frothing at the mouth to get just more on screen time together because. I truly do love them together, and as someone who's an anime only My Hero guy, I'm always jealous. At just the mere thought that there might be more of him in the anime, in the manga that I'm potentially missing out on. So maybe I will go in on the manga one day. This is something I've been wrestling with in my personal life for ages, whether I'm going to read the My Hero manga or not.
Yeah.
I know.
We highly recommend. So for me, I avoided reading manga for a while. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. That's more money. That's more of a hobby that I don't need to tack onto my list. And then I read My Hero on Shonen Jump. And then I was like, oh, I don't like reading it on my phone. I should get the physical copies. And now I'm freaking collecting so much manga.
I'm in the exact same boat with physical copies. And it's just like, I'm staring at a pile right in front of me. I'm like, oh, and it's just eating me up that there's like incomplete series there. It's just like, no, I need to finish all the Demon Slayer books. I need to get all Promised Neverland. No, I need all of Chainsaw Man before the anime comes out, because if I don't, I'm going to be mad.
Fucking same.
Not to be like an asshole, but I do have all of Chainsaw Man.
Oh, I heard your episode where you go through all your manga collection, and the whole time I'm just seething with rage. I'm like, why does she get it all? Yeah. No, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Why does she allowed 600 chapters of 600 volumes of manga in her upstairs? Why? That's not fair. That's.
You should see it, dude.
You
should see it.
I will when I eventually fucking steal it. It's not fair.
I'll send you a picture when we get off this podcast.
You
got it. I'm here right now. Thank God. I haven't seen her in song, but the anime room, it's unmatched.
The anime room is pretty fun.
I do. Yeah. Send me, please send me.
I
have like 100 figures.
I
can't do figures. Oh my God.
Keep tangenting. I have to make sure that this is talked about. Shoto Todoroki is why I kept watching My Hero whenever I wasn't with Shannon.
Oh, yeah. If we're talking about Shoto, I'm cracking a beer. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into this. Okay, go.
I cannot get enough of him. I love that he is so reserved, but also not at all internally reserved.
No.
And that the fire and ice embodies him so well, and that he also is learning to use it so well. But I think in general, that's something that we see kind of, I don't want to say so often, but we see like fire powers and ice powers individually in plenty of media. And even sometimes in one form, but like I grew up watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I know that this is just ran into the ground, but Todoroki and Zuko are the same character.
Yeah.
But oh my god,
Todoroki.
Hold up, my whole earth just fucking shattered around me. I just don't know what. Can you just give me a warning when you drop fucking truth bombs like that? Like fucking wasn't even. Well, fucking lucky I'm sitting down. Fuck me dead.
Zuko was my first comfort character, and then
I've even got
Todoroki became
scars.
my next one. And I was like, oh, they're the same one. I love them, and his power is just unmatched, and I can't wait to see where he goes with it in pro hero form.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to say.
Oh my god, Endeavor's almost kind of like the Fire Lord too.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
my brain's just
Endeavor
melting
is the Fire
away.
Lord.
Oh my god.
As it should. I mean, whenever I saw his face, and to be fair, I had just finished binging Avatar: The Last Airbender because one of my roommates had never seen it. And I was like, well, of course I'm going to sit down and watch this with you again. And then I met Shoto, and I was like, oh, same thing, different font.
Yeah. Yeah, my brain's just, it's gone. I got nothing. Fuck that. Just now I'm thinking like, okay, who's his sister? And I'm guessing like I've been spoiled for some My Hero stuff down the track, so I'm guessing. Oh my god, Shoto, yeah, they're the same.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Sorry if I spoiled anything secondhand.
Oh no, I got spoiled for My Hero so long ago. Which is fine, but now that whole, yeah, they're the same people. Jesus Christ.
We are gonna, because we were talking about it and about you being anime only for My Hero, we are gonna do My Hero manga spoilers episode, so just heads up, don't listen to that one.
Oh, you man,
in the title, but
you got like Nakama no anime, and it's good. You go start every episode with like a spoiler warning, so you go in there know like if you get spoiled, it's your own fault, which is fine. I 100% agree with that. But you like, there's times where I've been away from my phone with Bluetooth headphones, and I'm like, oh my god, they need to stop talking. I can't get to my phone quick enough. I've thrown my headphones across the room when you guys mentioned like Jujutsu Kaisen spoilers. I'm not close enough to my phone to mute it. I'm like, no, stop it!
No.
I can't do it.
I'll try to add a secondary disclaimer.
No, it's fine. You guys do more than enough
what?
to avoid spoiler warnings. You guys are top of the game when it comes to like at least warning people about spoilers. So. It's my fault for always leaving my phone in strange places and walking around with just Bluetooth headphones. Shoto Todoroki is on my list for sure. It was probably the first one on my list, and he's easily the most like kind of fannable, if you know what I mean. Like he's the person I see. Like I see more Shoto Todoroki t-shirts getting around than I see anything else. He is everywhere. That emo boy is just, and like he's the kind of perfect example of that emo boy that you know you can fix, because he's trying to fix himself as well. So it's like, it's not a toxic thing if you want to fix him, because no, he wants to fix himself. So he's like the kind of the perfect boy, and it's like, oh man, I do love that man.
Yeah,
I truly.
Yeah, I love him. He was my first piece of anime merch because I had him in a t-shirt or a crop top. Yeah. Love him.
And another like one of my favorite quirks is Aries quirk Rewind. That was like very, very high up on mine.
That one is good.
It is really
cool.
good. I want to spend more time with it. I like it. It was super interesting. I find that whole arc in season 4, I think. Yeah, season 4 is really good. I like all the Eri and Deku stuff. And although I know that gets a little bit of hate because of, you know, Deku going 100% of all for one. All for one? No, one for all. Anyway, is kind of a cop out because, you know, yeah, I kind of see where people come through where it was a little bit a little bit anticlimactic that he kind of removed all his limiters and he couldn't hurt himself. But I really enjoyed all that stuff. And Yuri's what is it, Rewind is something that I hope gets a lot more playtime, because it's just theoretically there's so much you can do with it, like, you know.
Yeah. Once you kind of read the manga, you'll definitely know more. I'm obviously not going to spoil it for you, but I have read the whole thing, and you definitely get to kind of see what else she can do with it and how she'll learn how to use it, which is really fun.
I do love how
it's definitely.
Sorry, I do love it how at the start of this conversation it was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to read the manga, and you guys are just like, well, when you read the manga, which is like, it's like a foregone conclusion now, like, well, you're going to do it, right? It's like, fuck.
You will.
I will.
You
I know.
have to.
It's just a rite of passage.
Yeah.
It's a coming of age ritual.
I wasn't.
I love it.
And then here we are. Yeah.
But my real question is, if I read the My Hero Academia manga, do I also have to read the Vigilante one?
I like Vigilantes. I think it's really good. You don't have to read it. It does give you more of a background, though, on the trio of, I call him Presentation Michael, Aizawa, and I forgot what the other guy's name is.
Over?
Oh yeah, something like that. It's the guy with the blue hair.
Yeah.
It gives you like background on their relationship and stuff like that, and like, yeah, if
I
you're
haven't read
interested in
Vigilantes
that,
yet.
it's good. I like it. I have all of the ones.
Yeah, I probably will. Look, I'm just pointing. I'm putting off the inevitable now. I know I'm going to do it. It's just like, when am I going to just bite the bullet and commit? You know what I mean? It's terrible. But let's talk about something that we can all agree on is terrible. Let's talk about the telescopic quirk. I don't know if you guys remember this. It was featured in like season 2, maybe, in the sports carnival. The girl who can pull her body inside of herself to dodge attacks.
I do remember her.
I was thinking about Mei Hatsume. I was like, oh.
No, hers is like
hers is like in her eye.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know who you're talking about.
No, I do. She's really gross. She,
God.
Literally, like, just like.
I'm gonna Google it. Y'all talk about it. I'm listening.
It's just gross.
It's just gross, and
I get
it's the like level of useless. Like, it's even more useless than Minetta's quirk, because like all you can do is pull your body inside of yourself. So it's just like, well, what's your plan here?
Like how do you get out of anything?
Yeah.
She just kind of like pushes herself back out.
Yeah, it's sucks herself in.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really gross. I don't understand how she made it.
It's so little.
How did she make it into the school? These are my questions.
It's ridiculous.
Who are letting these people in here?
Who is just like, who is lying to these children that they can be heroes when they know for a fact they got? It's like, no, just break their dreams early. Like, the rest of us had our dreams broken early. Like, fucking hell.
It's true.
That bitch is gonna die. You send her out there, she will fucking die. Like, just decline her. Tell her no, because that's embarrassing.
Just do what all like good parents or like teachers do. Just hand on the shoulder, eye level, and just break the news to them. Just like my parents did to me when they told me I could never be Tony Hawk. It was just that they did it. They sat me down, put their hand on my shoulder, and said, "Philip, you're quite large, and you'll snap any board you try and write. It's not going to happen. And look, you could lose the weight, but that would mean you'd have to give up KFC, and we both know you're not going to. So just move on.
Not
Accept
worth
it.
That's what I'm saying.
Not worth.
Like, just fucking tell her that she's shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tell her that she's shit.
Eye contact, honesty.
You can be like kind about it. You don't have to be an asshole, but be like,
or be an asshole.
No, be an asshole.
Like, pity.
If you're gonna
shit, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. In my past history, I've experienced if you be an asshole, you're going to shatter their dreams quicker, which inevitably is the right decision. It doesn't leave you jaded and bitter as an adult. I'm fine.
See, but I like to think I'm very much like that. I'm not. I'm very much like, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, oh no. But like in my brain, I'm like, bitch, you're fucking awful. Like, get out of here. You're not fucking good enough. Sucks to suck.
It's like, we have someone on our team who can literally create fire and ice from the separate halves of his body. You can pull your arm into your body. What's happening here? There is no scenario in which you win. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's not like Jiro's quirk. You know Jiro, If and Jack. That's really like not that cool. Like the fact that she has those fucking
There's very specific things that she can help with.
Yeah,
and
but at
most
least
of
she's
them,
helpful.
like stealthy.
She's helpful.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, how is she gonna help?
Her literally,
Help herself.
the best thing she can do is just dodge, which if you can
That's
only,
what I'm saying.
it's like you
She's
wouldn't
a
even make it.
distraction.
Like you wouldn't even make a dodgeball team because you still have to be able to throw the ball, but you can't because you're fucking useless.
They throw the dodgeball
so
and it's just like
It's quite atrocious. But someone who has a quirk that is probably more useful, but I think equally as shit, is Coda and his Anna voice quirk.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to be able
the fight with Presentation Michael. That was so funny. When they sent the bugs up his leg, that's so funny.
I feel like it's so interesting to think about his quirk because, again, I think about a lot with them as the people using it, and he's so reserved.
Yeah.
That I'm like, what if this quirk was on somebody that wasn't? I don't know. Would it make a difference? The quirk is kind of shit in general.
But I also,
as a person who grew up hoping I could talk to animals, I don't know.
Oh man, don't get me wrong. Like I wish I could talk to animals, but I also think that Coda is quiet and reserved because he grew up talking to animals. Now, if just think about all the horrific things that house pets would tell you that they see on a day-to-day basis.
Horrible.
My guinea pigs alone have seen some heinous things. Just me, 5 a.m. in the morning, underwear, just like reaching down into their cage to put like spinach in them, like drool in my beard, like it's a whole scene, like just absolute dog shit breath. Like if those guinea pigs could talk, they would cry. Like that's all they would do. Like, and if you grew up only having that communication with like, could you imagine if you just sat down and had a conversation with like a street bird, how like
Oh my God,
rough and tumble a street bird would be like, nah, man, I've seen some shit. Nah, man, I saw my brother just get hit by a car, brother. No. My mum, she threw the eggs out of the nest. Like, that would be horrific. And that's your only people you can talk to. Plus, you get that face.
Yeah.
You walk around with a Coda face. I'd be quiet and reserved too, okay?
Right?
Yeah,
I would be
Coda.
quiet and reserved if I looked like that.
Yeah.
He is really ugly.
I think
Why does he have to have that face?
I don't know. It makes no sense. He is one of those characters that, like, I pity, and I feel really bad whenever I pity characters.
Well, yeah, because you're like, well, your quirk is like kind of cool.
Yeah.
But like, if your face didn't look like that, it wouldn't be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, not only is your quirk like, but your face is really ugly. I'm not even mean because it's a literal fact.
Yeah, it's
Poor Angel.
It's quite terrible, and it's like I feel so bad for Coda because like in the show he is just nothing but like a sweetheart the whole time, but also anytime he's on screen I'm like, you suck, Coda. You're fucking you and Minetta should just fucking retire from Class 1A. You're like useless.
Oh, but like when they fight Presentation Michael and he's afraid of the bugs, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, you can literally speak to him. Like, your heart, like, this is all you can do. This is the only fucking job you have, and you can't even do that properly. Yeah. Like, you're leaving that poor girl for her fucking ears to bleed. Like, are you shitting me?
Coda, sack the fuck up or get the fuck out.
The only way I could see Coda's quirk being like super useful is that it also came with like the innate knowledge of what like animal everyone was afraid of, because everyone's like kind of skittish of at least one animal. Yeah. Like for me, if Coda convinced like 4 frogs to follow me home, I'd kill myself. Like that'd be it. I'd be done. That's all it would take. Like Coda could cripple me with a well-placed frog. Like that's it. But like he can't.
No. Can fuck some shit up with some ocean animals. Killer whales? Are you kidding me?
Could you imagine they're on the ocean and fucking like whale comes and flattens your boat?
Yeah. Killer whales are not to be fucked with anyways, and then with Coda talking to them, absolutely not.
Yeah, but he's such a little bitch that he wouldn't tell him to do anything like nasty. He'd be like, no, just rock their boat. No, it's fine. They'll get it. It's okay. It's more about sending a message than hurting them.
Yeah.
Fucking loser. Do we have any more good quirks that we should talk about?
Yeah,
I've got a few.
I can't. I'm gonna fuck his name up. Chizume Akaguro Stain. Blood Curdle. That is a badass quirk. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Stain's like one of the best villains in My Hero too. He's fucking amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's cool as shit. And his quirk is crazy. And the fact that it's got so many nuances, like with the different blood types and like how your
It's
quirk
like a very
interacts with your
well
blood
thought
type.
out
Oh my
one.
god.
Yeah.
I love that quirk. Blood Curdle is top tier.
Yeah, and also like a
also
special
said
shout out to
Republic
Blood
was cool.
Control too. Vlad King's quirk as well, the other instructor who has.
Yes.
Mhm.
I love that. I think just because the way you see him utilize it and the way they animate the blood is really cool looking, and I think using blood as like a manipulator, like kind of like how blood control works in Avatar: The Last Airbender, I think it's just very interesting.
Yeah, very good. Very good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Now,
also think Denki's cool as shit. Once he like gets his quirk under control, he's gonna be cool as shit.
We love Denki in this house.
Yeah, Denki stands over here. Me and my tattoo.
Yeah,
on my
really.
arm.
I'm
I
just
think he'll
sorry.
be
I'm just
great. I
googling
just
who
feel bad
Denki
that
is because I
he's
can't. Who are you talking about?
Huh?
Who's Denki?
Denki Kaminari.
Oh yes, okay. I was like, oh my god, I'm blanking so hard. Okay, yeah, no. That's very cool.
Kaminari. We love Kaminari here.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because like he's kind of like a goofball, but I suppose he's actually pretty cool. I was a big fan of Red Riot Kirishima for a long time, and then I read a particularly awful fan fiction that I was like, I can't like you anymore. I'm sorry. Oh, it was.
You gotta send me that.
I don't think I think it's technically a hate crime if I do, so I might not because it is. It's really bad.
It's
Well,
fair.
let's just say hardening was used in a way that hardening should never be used.
Oh no.
Yeah, the My Hero fanfiction. Like I've been reading fanfiction for a long time, and I always it's one of those things where it's like it started off as a guilty pleasure, but at this time it's just like an actual crippling addiction that I at some point will seek medical help for because like it does nothing for me. Like fanfiction enriches my life in no way, but yet I still just fucking. Like someone would just be like, I wrote a 400-page fan fiction about Uraku and Deku, and they ends with them having zero gravity sex in Spain. And I'm like, yeah, of course, I'm gonna watch that.
You're like, yeah, that makes sense.
You're like,
Every-
yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, why wouldn't they?
That's a foregone
To be
conclusion,
fair,
but how
I'm
do they
writing-
get there? I love it.
When wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you if you had their ability?
Honestly, that actually sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
I would probably read 400 pages worth of that.
Man, like there's some fan
easy
fiction
to-
out there, like some fan fiction writers out there who are doing like just honest to God,
The
God's
most.
work. Like they're out there just grinding every day, and like for who? For like 18 nerds that are going to read it and just like get something out of it and just think about it every day for like the next 10 years. Like it's the most thankless job out there. God, I thank you, fan fiction writers. You fucking heroes,
is.
one and all of yous.
Yeah. Yeah, truly. I mean, honestly, we wouldn't have half the fantasy novels that I've been reading lately without fan fiction.
No.
Exactly.
Because people write a fan fiction, change the names, change the environment like a little, boom.
Boom.
New
Twilight,
York-
50
New York
Shades of Grey.
bestseller.
Boom. Let's do this. Look, we're just hitting the hour mark there. Unfortunately, we are going to have to wrap up. It has been an honest to God pleasure doing this with you, lovely people. Cheyenne and Shannon, do you guys want to plug your podcast? Nakama no Anime, where can people
Sure.
find you?
Yeah. So you guys can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at nakamanoanime_podcast or without the underscore, respectively. And then all of our personal stuff is also linked on there. We are not doing any episodes right now, but we will once we're both back from vacation. So I'll get those scheduled as soon as I can. But yeah, reach out to us anytime.
For sure. Please do go check out their stuff. I've had so much fun listening to you guys over the last couple of weeks. It's been like a genuine joy to have you guys on this podcast, and we got to maybe a quarter of the questions I had for you, so I'll be sliding into your DMs just to get personal questions answered, because there are questions I need to know. That's just like, for example, I wrote this question down and I really want to know, so I'm going to ask you really quickly. Who's your favorite character from Skate the Infinity?
Ooh. Reki.
Okay.
Yeah, Reki.
Yeah, I like Reki. Like he's I think his English voice actors like Matt Shipman as well, who's like one of my favorite English voice actors as well. But like Cherry Blossom in that show, I don't know what it is. something about like a techno
Yeah.
skateboard and like a Tony Stark-esque Friday relationship with his AI. I don't know. And then the beef. What's the chef? What's the chef name?
Joe.
Oh,
I
God.
love Matcha Blossom.
I'm
Joe
telling you, if you get her started on Matcha Blossom, you will not get off the
Yeah, I won't stop.
Okay. Well, it
To
has been an absolute pleasure to have you guys on this podcast. Please go check out Nakama Anime. Leave us a review here at Lords of Dorktown. Make sure you get around the Instagram at Lords of Dorktown. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at lordsofdorktown@gmail.com. And yeah, just keep it dorky, guys. It's been a pleasure, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was fun.
That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
That was really fun. So, did you guys just want me to send my audio, or do you want me to send everyone's audio, or you want just a whole episode? I can just edit the whole episode and send that to you if you'd like.
Yeah, honestly, if you just want to send us the whole episode, it'll literally can just be a replica onto our page and stuff too.
That sounds.
Not that we have a huge reach, but
No, that's fine. That sounds awesome. I'll just do exactly that. Sorry about wrapping us up at the end. It's just I've got, it's like midday and I've still got so much to do. Oh my god.
No, please don't apologize. We get it. It's the end of our day, and we're about to like dive into cosplay stuff. So
I didn't even get to my cosplay questions because I've got so many. Because I'm gonna have to get you back on for another one. Like, I'm sorry, but I'll force you to come back.
Yeah, you said.
Listen, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed this, and I haven't been able to see Shannon in a long time. So we're just literally like chilling in her bed recording the podcast. This was awesome.
I had legit so much fun, and I'll send this through to you maybe tonight. I'm gonna have a few more beers, so that may be tomorrow morning, but we'll see.
That's okay. I'm sending you my email right now before I forget.
Awesome. You guys are true legends, and I can't wait to get you guys back on. I'll catch you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.